The love of our entire country is pouring out for them, and we are lifting them up in our prayers. As we are filled with anguish and grief for those who were shot, we're also filled with righteous anger and ferocious resolve. As President of the United States, I am determined to ensure that the animal who perpetrated this atrocity pays the steepest possible price. I can report tonight that based on the best available information, the Department of Homeland Security is confident that the suspect in custody is a foreigner who entered our country from Afghanistan, a hellhole on earth. He was flown in by the Biden administration in September 2021 on those infamous flights that everybody was talking about. Nobody knew who was coming in. Nobody knew anything about it. His status was extended under legislation signed by President Biden, a disastrous president, the worst in the history of our country. This attack underscores the single greatest national security threat facing our nation. The last administration let in 20 million unknown and unvetted foreigners from all over the world, from places that you don't want to even know about. No country can tolerate such a risk to our very survival. An example is Minnesota, where hundreds of thousands of Somalians are ripping off our country and ripping apart that once great state. Billions of dollars are lost, and gangs of Somalians come from a country that doesn't even have a government, no laws, no water, no military, no nothing. As their representatives in our country preach to us about our Constitution and how our country is no good. We're not going to put up with these kind of assaults on law and order by people who shouldn't even be in our country. We must now re-examine every single alien who has entered our country from Afghanistan under Biden, and we must take all necessary measures to ensure the removal of any alien from any country who does not belong here or add benefit to our country. If they can't love our country, we don't want them. America will never bend and never yield in the face of terror. And at the same time, we will not be deterred from the mission these service members were so nobly fulfilling. That is why tonight I can announce that I have directed the Department of War to mobilize an additional 500 troops to help protect our capital city. We will make America totally safe again, and we will bring the perpetrator of this barbaric attack to swift and certain justice if the bullets going in the opposite direction haven't already done that. During this time of the year, when we gather at home with loved ones, these two patriots were wearing the uniform of our country, patrolling the streets of our capital. They had taken a selfless oath to defend our nation against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And that is exactly what they were doing when they were gunned down in a savage attack. I want to express my extraordinary gratitude to every member of the United States military who is deployed tonight at home and abroad. I also want to thank the Secret Service and the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department for their work today. This Thanksgiving, I ask every family to say a prayer for the two great heroes who were so horribly shot, and for their loved ones. Please say a prayer. May God bless them and comfort them, and may God bless and protect the United States of America. Thank you and good night.
Well, that was kind of short. I didn't know how long it was going to last, so I had to jump on real quick, make sure we got that out. And we understand where he's going with this. So the only big announcement we kind of heard earlier, he's going to put 500 more people, more guard on the troops in Washington, D.C. But something tells me there's going to be more coming. While we're here, we can listen to Stephen Miller.
On how someone like this, who he just described as an animal, gets here in the first place and takes out a weapon in broad daylight in our nation's capital, blocks away from the White House where the president lives and works and where you work, and ambushes them. And the president wants to know that this will not stand. I think it's part of how he got reelected. Basically, he said they broke it, we'll fix it. But Stephen, I want to ask you a question. Do you think, given the reduction in robberies and murders and crime in the district, how much safer and more beautiful it is now because of the Guardsmen and what happened tonight, do you think some of these mayors and governors are going to be able to resist legally and frankly morally guardsmen coming to their cities to help do the same thing?
Well, I mean, look at the situation in Chicago, where the governor, Pritzker, is fighting President Trump with everything that Pritzker has to try to keep President Trump from ending the murder epidemic in Chicago. Pritzker and Johnson are fighting on behalf of the murderers, not on behalf of the citizens, fighting against the National Guard, fighting against law enforcement, fighting against federal investigators at every step of the way. Let me begin by saying to the beginning of your question that the president's remarks, I think, were among the most moving that I've ever heard. It was perfect for this incredibly tragic occasion, this heartbreaking, anguishing tragedy right before Thanksgiving. I think he spoke movingly and beautifully to what we've lost, but also demonstrated the tremendous resolve and determination to not only continue the mission these soldiers died for, but to expand the mission, declaring that far from being deterred, the commander-in-chief, our president, is sending 500 more troops to the city to show that no terrorism will sway us. And also having a conversation tonight with America, the conversation that we have to have with President Trump saying that Joe Biden, the Biden administration, the Democrats have inflicted on this nation the worst national security threat in our history. We've never faced a threat like this. 20 million people brought into our country from the most failed societies on earth. Afghanistan, Somalia, Libya, Iraq, brought here. No vetting, no conditions, no rules. Brought here on visas, brought here as refugees, brought here as asylees, brought here as illegals, brought here in every way imaginable, by plane, train, bus, automobile, by land, by sea. For 4 straight years, they deluged this country. And now more blood is being spilled as a result. What you heard tonight from President Trump, the breaking news here tonight, is saying that his government is going to accelerate efforts to review every person added to this country over the last 20 years, or the last 4 years, all 20 million. Now, obviously, if you're illegal, you're out automatically. But everybody else who was brought here, refugee, asylum status, whatever status, as he said, if you're not someone who loves this country, if you're not adding benefit to this country, then we're going to send you out of this country. Because it's enough already. No one else has to die. No one else has to be murdered. No one else has to be shot. No more empty seats are needed at the Thanksgiving table or the Christmas table because of what Democrats have done to this country. So tonight we heard from a commander-in-chief a historic announcement, a brave announcement, exactly what America needed to hear, Kellyanne.
Absolutely. Stephen Miller, and you've amplified it so beautifully tonight. First, they delegitimize the National Guard, and then they dehumanize the guardsmen and guardswomen. And it should surprise no one, yet shock us and sadden us all the same what happened today. Stephen, that's also a president, I know, influenced by you and others as well, who is helping to lead the nation in prayer. And he's praying for those victims. He's praying for their families. He's praying for the other brave men and women in all types of uniform who wake up every morning and run toward the danger to protect our freedoms and our lives. Stephen Miller, thank you very much. God bless Katie and you and the family for Thanksgiving.
All right, guys, I'm not really going to apologize. I had no notice. If it wasn't for SV texting me and going, he's coming on at 9:15, I'm like, it's 9:10. He's coming on in 5 minutes. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. 5 minutes notice. But in any event, I want you to read between the lines here. You really got to really get out the magnifying glass and read the small print. Because that small print right now is going to tell you everything, and it's going to tell you where this is going. There is no way in hell, not even this much, that what he wants to do in terms of vetting all of these newcomers, there's no way in hell the Democrats and the court system would let him do these mass deportations. Not going to happen. And they're not going to be able to pass a law in Congress because there's no way in hell they're going to get 60 votes. So when you read into the very small print, and you understand he's got the political capital to do it right now because of what has been happening and America has had enough, the only way this is going to happen, there's only one way he's going to be able to do what he wants to do. And we've been waiting for it. I doubt they had it written up tonight, so he couldn't actually come out and say it. But we're going to see some form of an insurrection act, some sort of martial law, partial martial law. Didn't mean to rhyme that, but that's the only way. There is no other way. They'll never pass a law. The Democrats will fight this tooth and nail because this is the death of the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party cannot exist once we do mail-in voting, voter ID, and getting rid of the newcomers. They're done. So what you're going to see over the next 24 or 48 hours or longer is possibly violence, definitely agonal breathing, and a whole lot of head explosions. They are going to be screaming bloody murder. If I turned it on CNN right now, but I won't because I don't care what they have to say, he's got to do what he's got to do. His number one job is to keep Americans safe. His number one job is to fight off enemies, foreign and domestic. The Democrats do not believe in that. The Democrats will not allow him. And I say allow because they will use everything at their disposal. They will throw every monkey wrench they can possibly do to slow this down. He knows this. You know it. There's nothing, I mean literally nothing, that's going to allow him to do what needs to get done short of pulling the pin. It's time. And so as of right now, what you heard and you saw a very pissed off president, he's going to need your support more than ever. The Democrats are already saying stupid stuff online. Well, if the military wasn't there, then there wouldn't be anybody getting shot. That's asinine. They're already making excuses. So at this point, buckle down, understand he's going to need your support. You're going to have to let him know. And I don't care about people in Congress. I don't care about John Thune. I don't care about Mike Johnson. They've already shown they're too limp-wristed. At this point, you have to let him know. Go on True Social, post it on X, whatever you got to do. President Trump, do it. We're behind you 100%. Not 80, not 90, 100%. Get these people the hell out of our country. And if that makes me a racist, I'll wear it with pleasure. Absolute pleasure. I don't care if they call me a racist. I don't care if they call me phobic this and phobic that. And we're done. We're done with boys playing girl sports. We're done with their entire, dances and stuff. We're done with this censorship. We should be able to say we do not want Transformers in school libraries. We got to pull the plug on all of this. You with me? You with him? Because now it's going to get tough. You're going to have family members, even on Thanksgiving. You're going to have family members pissed. You're going to have coworkers. People are going to get crazy over this because now it has to do. I mean, go watch the movie. You know what? We got to do a new movie night. Tomorrow I'm going to see if we can do It's a Wonderful Life. And then shortly after that, we got to watch the movie The Siege. If you haven't seen the movie The Siege, not the one with Steven Seagal, the one with Bruce Willis, when they had to roll the military out into the streets. Great movie. Great movie. It shows this is how it's supposed to happen. We might as well do a training video at this point, and you'll see exactly what that entails. If I sound a little pumped up and pissed off, it's because I am. Any one of us could be next. We could be in a mall tomorrow. We could be in a restaurant. We could be at a sporting event. We could be just driving down the road. Who knows? And these people, they're here. They're embedded. They're waiting for the ability to get the call, do what they need to do. I personally don't want my wife standing on a corner or going into a store wondering What's around here? What are we looking at? I don't think any of you want that either. We got to get them the hell out. So understand at this point, as a Christian, pray. And as a Christian, understand they're going to call you every name in the book. They're going to call it to you. They're going to write in pen on your car. They may put something on your garage. You're a racist. You're a phobic. You're everything. Don't get deterred. Don't take your eye off of where we need to be. Time to fight. Time to get absolutely in the dirt. Yeah. Kelly, yeah, it's very dangerous. I feel bad for people who live in states that don't allow you to protect yourself. If you're not sure, you should find out from your state if they've determined the viability of the castle doctrine. The castle doctrine means obviously your home is your castle, but down here in Florida, you don't have to retreat anywhere. If somebody approaches you and you feel like your safety is at risk, or someone you're with, their safety is at risk, you do not have to retreat. Find out how the the government or municipality, wherever you are, is going to treat you with the castle doctrine. It's at that point, and they are not going to go quietly. Don't think they're all going to go, all right, well, I guess I'll head back to Afghanistan. That ain't going to happen. That is not going to happen. Yeah, President Trump is our champion and best friend. Exactly. It's about time Republicans grow some balls and start arresting people. Stand your ground law. Yeah, we call it the castle doctrine down here. Montana, we have the most guns of any state. I love this one. It is more dangerous for MAGA to do nothing. Now you need to be vocal. Now just don't let, I like Mark Mitchell. And I'm seeing a lot of tone-deaf people posting. I don't give a shit about some poll. The polls changed today. There's no reason to even be talking about polls. At this point, we got to do what we got to do. Crazy. Has anyone read the book Shogun by James Clavell? Lord Taranga had sleeper cells in various cities. Yeah, and there's so many of them. It only takes a few. You've heard the statement. We have to be right 100% of the time. They only have to be right once. And if you haven't had the chance to read the account of what happened today, you should read it. Find someone who's actually posted it. I feel concerned even saying it here, but the first person that was shot was the woman. And while he shot her, he then wrestled and took her weapon away from her and then put it almost point blank to her head. Savage. Absolute savagery. Man, I've been vocal, baby. Veil Radio is one mouth be broad. Oh my goodness. This is like how I want to be able to do things. So if something comes up on a moment's notice like that, I want to be able to jump in and cover it. And we had literally no notice. I mean, President Trump posted, I'm going to be on at 9:15. I got to talk right now. And we need to, if he took that urgency to come on, then you know it was absolutely urgent. Be careful. I'll see you guys tomorrow sometime. Let me see what else they're saying here. If there's anything else I can break on. No, they're just still going over the same thing. But let your friends know if they need to come by and see that address by President Trump. It was short. I think it was under 5 minutes. Quite to the point. Quite pissed off. Quite definitive. And like I said, read between the lines and feel comfortable that the only way anything about what he said is going to happen is if he goes nuclear. And I'm all for it. We've been waiting for it. I think it's here. I think it's on the way. Let me hear what this lady's got to say.
Updates that gave us information to stand on. But as we just heard from, he addressed the nation on X. And the president called this act of violence a crime against our nation and humanity. He called the man who shot the 2 National Guard members an animal that will pay the steepest price. He asked for Americans to pray together for them and their families as Thanksgiving is tomorrow, as they were shot in a point-blank range just steps from the White House this afternoon. President Trump said they were deputized as part of the Safe and Beautiful Task Force. They are from West Virginia, but tonight in the hospital in critical condition. He also confirmed that he heard from the Department of Homeland Security, who says the male suspect is a foreigner who entered our country from Afghanistan and was flown in by the Biden administration in September of 2021. President Trump said also tonight that the suspect's status was extended under legislation signed by President Biden. He noted that America will never bend and never yield in the face of terror. Tonight, he ended his remarks to the nation by thanking and expressing his gratitude to every member of the United States military who is deployed tonight at home and abroad. And we also heard from the governor of West Virginia, who said he spoke to the president about those 2 National Guard members who came from his state. So there is communication with the president and the governor. We do know that. As Thanksgiving is tomorrow, Kellyanne, we know that the president is scheduled to have a phone call from Mar-a-Lago with service members tomorrow evening. So, of course, we're going to be following those remarks and any other updates that come from Truth Social or, of course, on X through that White House account.
All right, so everybody, that's it for a wrap. I'm not going to go through the whole 30-minute after party. I think this one is like 3 minutes and 49 seconds, but obviously tomorrow night I will definitely cover that if that's live. If we can get a feed on that, we'll most assuredly will cover that. So why don't you guys stay at peace, pray, have a great Thanksgiving dinner, and it looks like we're going to be getting together tomorrow night in some way, shape, or form. Because I'd love to hear President Trump talk to the military. The military, who he's probably about to activate. I think we're probably going to see that. Craziness. Airports, crowded day, 80 million people flying or traveling this weekend. Just keep your wits about you wherever you're going to be. And I will talk to you tomorrow.
Somewhere to be every night of the week. Seems God ain't close as he used to be. And there's more tequila in this old town than pines in Tennessee. I ain't the man I thought I'd be. And these neon lights that keep me up got me thinking maybe mom and dad had it right all along. We're too old to still be alone, and we ain't happy ever after all. I'm just saying it wouldn't be as bad as we made it out, living in our hometown. You find a girl and get married before you're 20. But I've been running like a southbound train, as fast as a northern summer with no one to love. And it's making me wonder if maybe mom and dad had it right all along, and we're too old to still be alone, and we ain't happy ever after all. No, I'm just saying it wouldn't be as if you find love, don't overthink it. Just find yourself a good one, and don't you let it go. That's what they told me.